Congratulations to the University of Connecticut, Coach Diaco. Hard-fought game, right to the very, very end. A great college football game. I'm lucky to be at the University of Virginia. I'm lucky to be the coach of this team, and I'm proud of the way my team played today. They fought hard from beginning to end, and I think they took a step forward again from week 1 to week 2, week 2 to week 3, and they gave us, they were clearly prepared to play on the road and believed they could win, and I think they believed they could win right to the end. And that's one of the first steps of a change effort. And it's fun to see them believe that, and it's fun to see them work hard enough to put themselves in position for that. And when you stay in position enough, eventually you'll break through as long as they keep working. Significant improvement. And that might not be a strong enough word for the defensive performance today. Critical plays by Donnie Dowling and Keon Johnson on the last drive. Those were huge plays. And Kurt Bankert, that guy, I mean, he is tough. I mean, he was hurting bad, and stood in there and delivered, gave us a chance to win the game. And I like him a lot. Yeah, that's stuff that I don't think there's anything else. I'll take questions. I'm sure you all have some.
How much consideration, if any, did you give on going into the end zone at the end there?
Rather than kicking a field goal, didn't give any. I felt like I shouldn't say that. Weighed it, but believed that we would play and execute at a higher level if we went to overtime. I didn't think that UConn was going to have the capacity to score, even if we got into overtime, no matter how long it went, and I thought we would be able to from that range. And so that was my thought process. We were planning for Toro for a hurry-up field goal from about we were talking about that even before the 4th and 10, and knowing that that would be our strategy. There was a chance that the quarterback draw might have worked because Kurt's tough and he's big, and man, he threw his body in there. But we did know exactly how much time we needed to get the kicking team on and our other players off, so we played exactly to that strategy, and it just didn't happen to work.
On the drive work, it was I think it was 10-3. They tied it up. 63-yard drive, 19 yards in offense. The rest was penalties.
Yeah, I think the penalties, if I remember right, were pass interferences. They're all.
Pass interference and unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, I didn't see the unsportsmanlike. You'll have to remind me of what that one was.
I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, the pass interferences. I know there was a back shoulder throw where I saw that one, and I know they called one where there was a face mask and coverage away from the ball after we stopped them, and maybe that's the one you're talking about. And so certainly that made it difficult on us. And I don't think any of those penalties, when it comes to competing in coverage, those are hard ones to coach through, which I'll have to do. I'll have to coach our guys through. I don't remember the unsportsmanlike.
I think it was a personal foul.
Yeah. So that was the one that was away from the play, and and I think it might have been on Kirk Gardner, but the receiver, I didn't see it all, but from what I was told, the receiver went out and under, and I think he put out his hand and caught it. And I don't know if it's 5 or 15. They called 15, but I can't comment anymore on that because I didn't see it. I don't believe it was late. I think it was a face mask of some sort, but I didn't see that.
Earlier this week, you asked about competing situations, kind of still developing. You were maybe sold on Dylan. What went into Furbank today? And, confidence there that last second, it's his first football game of his life.
He practiced all week, and he did a really nice job in practice to the point where we put all kinds of pressure on him every single day, and he withstood it. And he made, I don't remember him missing a kick all week, and so that's what I saw.
What made the defense so much more effective today?
Just how hard they're working. I mean, it's time in addition to work ethic, in addition to youth maturing. And if they keep working diligently the way they are, they'll keep getting better. And it was fun for me to be with them, watching them have that kind of improvement. And just like it would be with one of your kids, watching them work hard and improve. And that's going to have to carry us. The simple successes as a team right now, I'm not letting them come and go without celebrating those. And there's not anyone in here that wants to win more than me, but I'm not going to let the improvements go unnoticed. And so there will be a place these kids can go every single week and get exactly what I see and improvements acknowledged. And that's one of the things I have to do a good job of.
That's the
Do
most.
you feel like Andrew Brown had been sort of on the verge of it didn't look like he really?
He just and he hasn't played much at UVA, and he just needs time and repetition and consistency, like so many of those kids do. And when they get time and consistency and repetition, they start to improve. And one of the plays today that led to their first field goal was completely my fault. I made a nickel call, a blitz call, and they substituted late. Knew I should have called timeout, but let the play run, and that was the only long run of the day. Basically, that was not the player's fault. That was completely on me. We didn't get a personnel thing switched fast enough, and so even with that, man, they battled hard.
That was by far the most Kareem Gibson has played
Yeah.
in his college career. Had he just been coming on a practice, or was Miles unavailable today? Or?
Miles was available. Kareem just had a great week of practice, and you might continue to see these changes all year. I mean, this is not where things are just set and everything's okay. This is development, and competition, and chemistry, and if a player or a person chooses to step back from this task we have, there'll be someone else that wants to bad enough to step in there. And Kareem just got an opportunity and made the most of it, as well as Chris Moore played a little bit at nickel early on, and so he's improving also as another freshman.
Coach, place kicking is obviously a precarious thing emotionally, and for a kid playing his first game, what kind of words of encouragement can you offer Alex?
Oh, I'm sure he'll feel like he was the one. There's a lot of plays out there. So what I see here is 73 plays by us and 64 by them. So that's, 137 plays, and his was just one of those, not including special teams. And it's the most visible, and there's no way around it. And the brutal fact is he'll have a hard time moving past this until he does something stronger. But we had plenty of chances today, and his was just the most visible, and he'll shoulder more than his share of the blame, even though it was just one play.
Your first takeaway of the year comes in the end zone, keeps you guys at a 10-3 lead when Juan makes that. Did that feel like kind of a turning point, a breakthrough thing, and not to kind of feed on that drive, the ensuing drive? How much that hurt?
Oh, there's just the kids are making more plays because they're in more and better positions, and that's going to allow us to be closer in winning football games. We're still a long ways away, but man, did they battled hard. Even that drive, the one you're mentioning with all those penalties on it, I mean, that thing was still just, they battled right to the end of that son of a gun, and that wasn't easy. And they were looking at me like, you got to be kidding me, is this happening? And so I have to look at whatever those plays are, but at the same time of the critical mistakes, I got to reward the critical takeaways and stops, because there was a lot of those.
I guess it's best asking Coach and I, but there when Kurt ran it at the end, what was the discussion there? I guess if you'd thrown it, maybe you got a few more seconds.
Yeah, possibly. I think and I'll let Coach and I answer, but from a defensive perspective, I can tell you that your best chance to score on the draw is in that situation where teams will be playing heavy pass. But we knew exactly how much time we had left, and we knew we could get a field goal kick, a field goal attempt on. So we actually thought it was a great chance to maybe take advantage of a defensive alignment.